If you're listening right now to the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we know something about you. We know that you're obsessed with Little House on the Prairie.
For more than half a century, Little House on the Prairie, the series and the books have been bright lights for people all over the world who seek out goodness, decency, and human connection.
Here on the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we celebrate everything that made Little House so special.
The stories, the characters, the actors, and the messages that have made Little House iconic family television.
And a perfect counterpoint to a world that feels like it's going off the rails every day.
Where is Michael Landon when we need him most? I'm your host, Pamela Bob.
And I'm your prairie bitch, Alison Arngrim.
And I'm Dean Butler.
Our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Join us for our loving, quirky, and often irreverent conversations about the finest family drama in the history of television.
And the imperfect people who made it that way.
In this third season, we are extremely grateful for the support of visitsimivalley.com for their continuing sponsorship of Little House on the Prairie and the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast. Well, hello, bonnet heads. How are you doing? I'm Pamela Bob, your host, creator and star of Living on a Prairie and superfan, and I am here with our wonderful prairie bitch, Alison Arngrim. Whoop whoop. Oh, hi. And our hashtag.
What are you looking at there?
I don't know. Well, there's a lot to look at, which is on par with today's episode.
And so it begins.
With my hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler. Hello.
Hello. That was a great look, Allison. That was really good. You're always primping, so it's like you just had to take a look down below.
Sure.
And my house is practically unbuttoned. I was like, whoa, what is happening? This show is getting a little too interesting. I buttoned up. Okay.
That's funny. Wow.
How's it going, you guys?
Well, let me just, Allison will tell you in a second. I'm in Northern California for a few weeks, and I'm in the place where living life from another time was sort of baked into my life. This is I'm at a family ranch, which has been in our family since 1885. Amazing. So it's, it's sort of we did get the internet. We put the internet in about 5 years ago so we could do these kinds of things. But it's in the house I'm in. I grew up. There was no running hot water in the house. There was no electricity in the house. Every day was like Little House on the Prairie. So that's where I am for the next couple of weeks. So I'm in the vibe.
You are Manzo right now.
Yes, I'm in the vibe. Yes.
But I see you do have electricity now.
We do have electricity now. Yeah, we put it in. It's all surface mounted. We didn't it's not like, surface mounted. It's all like
the little
blocks of power on the wall, but it works.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Allison? Anything
I'm
new?
going to say my leg is so much better. My whole thing, my pinched nerve thing.
Oh, good.
I have multiple appointments for physical therapy. I'm calling the chiropractor after this, getting all my appointments set and things. And boy, is it better. Like I said, I switched to heat and the whole thing.
That's great.
And it's like night and day now. It really is. Well, yesterday I drove all the way to Culver City for an interview, and I was just at the hairdresser. I actually walked across a parking lot. I was like, oh, okay, I couldn't do that last week. So, yes, no, it's dramatically improved. I'm going to live. I am definitely going to live.
I'm going to live. Yay.
Huh. I had a colonoscopy on Tuesday. And
right.
Oof.
Well, it all went.
Did everything come out okay?
I asked for that.
That was a Michael Landon joke. I just want to say it was a Michael Landon joke. Everything come out okay?
Yeah. No, I mean, these are things that we go through. I did one at 50, one at 60, this one at 70.
But you got the pills instead of the liquid drink.
Right.
How was that?
I would recommend it, except that the pills keep working longer than the drink does.
So, very thorough.
That's good. Just good to know that for everybody. The pills work longer.
I have to get one, but I am so terrified of the drink you have to drink.
Yeah, you can do it with the pill thing is just, look, it's 12 pills and you drink a gallon of water, and it's 12 pills, you drink a gallon of water again. I just think the thing you have to be wary of, for those of you who out there, and I know in our audience, people are in this stage of life where they're looking at this, having done both, definitely recommend the pills, but know that the effect of the pills will last longer.
How much long? Like a day longer, or like a week longer?
12 to 18 hours longer, something like that.
you.
So
Terrible.
when
I
you
can
start
handle
to eat again, it's still working.
God.
I've had a couple of them. Now, Pamela, have you not had your first colonoscopy?
No, and it's terrible. I
you
have
must,
to.
you
No,
must.
I know.
You have to
I
do
know.
it. And
I have
I
to do it. I've
understand
had
it's a
to do
harder
it all
procedure
year.
for women, just the way the biology, your physiology is constructed. It's not as easy.
I'm not worried
far
about
worse.
the actual procedure. Honestly, the only thing
You're
that's holding me
terrified
back
of the
is
drink.
the stupid drink.
What sucks, take the pills. I absolutely recommend the pills.
I mix the drink with Diet 7-Up. And
Of course you do.
Oh, you can mix it with anything. It still is terrible.
Mix it with gin. No, who cares? Let it.
No, that's breaking the rules.
Oh yeah, because you can't eat, right?
Okay,
Rules schmools.
what you want to do, the big thing is start eating the lighter diet like a couple of days. Start switching to salad and Jello.
So your stomach starts
have a little
shrinking
broth, a little Jello. Don't have red Jello. It'll be bad.
No. Red food, purple food, you
Nothing
got to
red
cut that out
I
of your
love
diet.
that we're
Yes,
talking
can.
about. Where is our sponsor for this? Like,
Yes.
where's our Pedialyte sponsor? Come on, and sure, that's a protein drink
go
supplement,
lightly,
right?
Go lightly. Call us. We'll
I think the
Activa.
pills are called, that I
Activa.
took were called Sutab, something like
Come
that.
on, Sutab
and it
people. Let's
absolutely
get a
works.
sponsor. Yes, come on. We're
You're
hyping
back.
you up,
Call us.
Sutab.
All right, so beyond that, just to change the subject. So, Alison, you're off to Burr Oak.
I am tomorrow. I'm going out to Burr Oak weekend. Burr Oak is so tiny. It's a lovely place. Like I said, getting my Laura Ingalls bingo card punch because it's like that.
Wait, what are the dates that you're there? Because by the time this drops, you will have already.
That's right. You will have been
there.
I have been and gone then.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was
It's
it?
great.
Fantastic. It was fantastic.
It was awesome.
Well, we'll hear all about it after you've returned.
Yes, we'll hear all about it if you've been there. So next coming up on the 11th, 12th, 13th of September, so I'm jumping ahead, we have our event honoring Johnny and June Carter Cash's appearance in the season 3 premiere episode of Little House called The Collection. Johnny and June, of course, were Caleb and Maddie Hotchkiss. He, the hardened criminal, looking for a quick score off the people of Walnut Grove. Well, the people and the place changed him, and he becomes. It's a wonderful, wonderful episode, and we are celebrating this at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, honoring the music that made Johnny Cash famous, and his children will be there playing. And for anybody, if you have not been to the Grand Ole Opry, it is one of the extraordinarily iconic American venues for music. And also, I know you just put something online about, and I saw it again this morning, about how the Ryman Auditorium may be up for sale. And the Ryman, of course, was the original Grand Ole Opry, and it's an iconic, beautiful, atmospheric facility. It's incredible.
And they're thinking about selling it. Quick, get your money together. Let's all pool our funds.
Right.
Oh
my God.
Come on, Little House.
Renting it is $27,000 a day, so as an empty space. So it's like it's going to be expensive for whoever buys it.
Whoever's buying it, start saving now. But it could be,
Did I ever
and then
tell you?
We're going to Malone. We're going to Malone. That's really cool. That's going to be great. I talked to the woman who does tech at the theater where I'll be doing my show, and that's going to be super duper under control. So we're also going to be going
in Chateauguay.
Chateauguay,
which is where the Morgan horses live that are going to be at the farm on that weekend.
The Morgan horses. This is like a huge thing. It's the Morgan horses.
The Morgan horses are among the most beautiful horses on planet Earth, and you see these horses and you feel you are fully in the Omanzo environment when you see that. You're going to love that.
Yeah,
Sorry?
It's a place, Burke, because it's Malone.
Burke, New York,
Malone, but this little place, Burke, which has the actual historic building, stuff still standing, very rare that you get to a prairie site.
It's the only place she wrote about that's still standing.
Still standing.
So,
Great Masters Hotel is still standing, but she didn't write about it.
Yeah, she did. She didn't write about it. So, and by the way, did not get just for those of you paying attention or having not heard this yet, of course, the event in Nashville, the web address for that, Little House on the Prairie, castreunions.com. That, of course, will be in the show notes. But so Malone, the July 24th, 25th, 26th.
Great.
It's me, Allison, Jennifer Donati, Baby Rose, and Charles Bloom, that rascally Pearly Day Wilder will be there. Allison's doing her comedy show on Friday night. It's
What a
going to
time.
be an absolute hoot. Check out almanzawilderfarm.com for tickets to that. And then, Allison, you and I will be at Heritage Village in the little village in the big woods in Sharonville, Ohio. We've talked about this, August 7th and 8th. Just
Near
a
Cincinnati.
beautiful, beautiful atmospheric location. It's incredible.
Yep. I've never
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
Another one.
Yeah. So let's take us into this show, Pamela, because my goodness, we just have
Here we
things to
go.
talk about.
Okay, today, we talk more thirsty girls on the prairie
God,
again. And some adventures with apples. Traumatizing. Okay, first, I gave you a good enough hint, I think. You can
Well, wait a
piece it
minute. So I
together.
wrote this: one thirsty girl on the
Oh,
grove
here we
goes
go.
hunting for apples and romance.
Romance. I know, I bastardized your
You
sentence.
jumped right through me. I thought that was a
really
pretty
did.
clever thing.
I'm
but
sorry.
Okay.
Here,
go
no,
with
I'm
that.
gonna say it one more time, and I'm gonna say it better. Ready? Here we go. Take
You don't
two.
have to.
No, take two. Here we go. Today, an episode where men hit the road and one thirsty girl in Walnut Grove goes hunting for apples and romance. How was that? That's
Oh
my
God, that was
podcast
awesome.
voice.
You are so good.
But first, from UB & Go and Prairie Partners and visit SineValley.com and you, our patrons, this is a colonoscopy special of
God, I hope not. I hope it's not still working.
Really, you relax.
the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary podcast. Public service announcement.
This
Get
is
your
why we get
colonoscopy.
downloaded 500,000 times a month now.
Yes.
This is exactly why. Did you see that statistic?
500,000
500,000 downloads
times?
in May.
That's
Wow.
wild, dude.
Yeah,
Thank-
it is.
Thanks,
Okay, go. Let's go.
colonoscopies. Okay, here we go. Dean, what? Just listen.
I
as
can't
a
get the
fan, also, I'm
colonoscopy out of my head now.
That was not on my bingo card to hear Almanzo talk about his colonoscopy.
But I've had mine.
Surprises
I know,
never
and I
cease.
have mine, and I'll talk
I
about
tell
it too after I've gotten.
I tell everyone it's very important. It's very important. It's just how many?
It is.
I forget what percentage of deaths have been
We're
avoided.
still
by
talking
people
about
in
it.
early- Save your life. It could save your life.
Is
Yeah, no, it's very
colonoscopy talk
important
now
to do
going to
it.
take
So,
over
all
older
kidding aside,
brothers
it's
talk?
very important.
Yes, no, it is. It is. Okay, let's get to the episode. Dean, what are we talking about today?
Okay, if people haven't figured it out, today we're talking about episode 14 of season 4. This is The Rivals, and The Rivals premiered on January 9th, 1978. The Rivals was written by John T. Dugan from a story by Hindi Brooks and John Dugan, which is unusual. Usually episodes are cracked by a writer, written by a writer. Michael rewrote. This is an episode based on a story that John did with Hindi Brooks. It was
is
produced
Hindi
and
Brooks?
directed by William F. Claxton, shot by Haskell Boggs.
Claxton
Allison,
directed
what's
some
it
great
about?
episodes.
Oh, good heavens! This one, this one's a doozy.
It sure
Rivals
is.
Makes the case that rivalry comes in all shapes and sizes, and it does. Oh my! So Charles, there's like multiple rivals in this. It's very complicated. Charles and Jonathan, good old Garvey, they think that they're competing for a lucrative freight hauling contract, while Caroline decides the freight contract itself is her rival. Oh yeah, it's a big thing because he likes being with the family and this keeps
Yes.
him away. But
Yes.
money, there's so much money, and it's like, oh my god. So they're really on it with the wagon. They're freaking out. But this contract is threatening to steal her husband away, literally for weeks at a time.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Laura develops her first crush. Is this her first crush?
Is this her first crush? My
No,
God,
we had Johnny
she's
Johnson.
crushes
Yeah, we
every
had
third
Johnny
episode.
Johnson. Dear
I
God,
know.
how many people? Yes, thirsty girl develops her fourth or fifth crush. I can't freaking keep track.
But they
On
always feel like the first, I guess.
Because, okay, we fought over Jason, we fought over Johnny Johnson, and luckily Nellie is not interested in Jimmy Hill. Thank heaven. So at least for that. So she gets her first crush on Jimmy Hill and immediately decides that Samantha Higgins, again, who has appeared out of nowhere and will be going to the Vortex soon. Samantha Higgins is the new girl from Mankato, and she is competition. Determined to become more ladylike, she takes romantic advice from Nellie Oleson.
What was she thinking?
I know. Desperate.
Worse?
Thirsty and
I mean, she
desperate.
later comes to me when she had that big exam, and this is your romance. Are you crazy, girl?
She's an idiot. Yes.
She
She's
keeps
an idiot.
coming
She's
back
come to
to
Nellie
you.
Oleson. It's terrible. She's asking
It's
for
all
trouble.
in service of the story.
Transforming herself into someone who, well, can't even play at recess. In the end, though, Charles and Jonathan discover money is not worth sacrificing family. Carolyn gets her husband back, and Laura learns that pretending to be someone else is a terrible way to win someone's affection. Funny, sweet, and wonderfully relatable. I never put apples up my dress. The Rivals reminds us that our greatest rival is often the fear of losing what matters most. And don't put apples up your dress.
I mean,
It's a fun. We're going to get to that moment.
Yeah, we
but
sure will.
That's a funny,
Yeah.
wonderful moment when she.
All the
does
girls who've seen this episode are going, oh, no, not the apple one.
my
But
sister and
has every girl put apples in their dress?
no, but no.
It's a thing. Some people
But-
have. There's been Kleenex. There are girls
Yeah.
who rolled up socks and hand
There's
towels
definitely
and Kleenex
things
and
you
tried
can
stupid
do
things
or
like that.
experiment with. Yes.
And it always ends badly.
It always ends
Yeah.
badly.
It looks totally dumb. Everyone
Yes.
knows you put it's Kleenex. You just showed
They
up
do.
at school.
How do they know?
Well, people were doing this in the day.
Because you start blowing your nose.
Teenage girls were not getting boob jobs back in
Right.
my day.
Right.
And then they would suddenly show up, and often like only the 6th or 7th grade would like, oh yes, no, it's perfectly normal, and everyone's like,
Or they get
Or they
get their first bra, but they would be padded, cupped bras. So all of a
they
sudden
never
they
quite
look.
get it even. They don't know
Yeah,
what they're doing,
yeah.
and they
There's
do
stuff.
people quickly, and everyone just kind of goes, oh,
It's hard.
It's
hard.
it's
so
it is
hard.
a magical. We're jumping way ahead of the episode, but that is thinking back to the time being the young boy watching all this take place. It is a magical transformation that young girls go through
Yes.
at that time. And you just feel like, as a young boy, you feel like a complete, total doofus because all these changes are happening to these girls that you've grown up with and nothing's happening to you. And,
like,
and it's like, all of a sudden, they're just completely different. Well, we're going to talk about the fact that Laura's trying to be completely different for better or
And
worse.
unless you're a boy who develops real quick and looks like he's 40 when he's 12 years old.
Yeah,
I
no,
have
that
a dear
happens.
friend
That
I grew
happens.
up with
Sure, sure.
who was 6'2", 200 pounds by the time he was in 8th grade, and he was miserable. I mean, it took him so long to feel comfortable with himself. And of course, everyone else had to catch up to him.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's no fun growing
Yeah.
when you're that little. I think is it worse developing quickly younger or being a late bloomer? I wonder.
I think
'Cause
it's better
they're
to be
both
the late
really
bloomer.
tough.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy and
That's what my
random.
husband
like,
always
all your
says.
friends in the class go at different rates, and you're a girl, and like your best friend suddenly looks 27, and
Yes.
your other best friend looks 9.
Yes.
And you're kind of going, what is happening? Junior high.
confusing
So, which of those were you, Allison?
I look 9. I was
Okay.
in junior high. I had people say, "Are you visiting an older brother or sister?" In campus? They did not think I was supposed to be there for yeah.
And Pamela, how about you?
Oh, I was an absolute late bloomer. I'm still a late bloomer. I'm always a late bloomer.
And look how well it works for you.
It was
Females
okay.
are
It turned out okay, but man, oh
Just
man, it was
fine.
hell getting there. I mean, truly, just the
Well,
worst. That's why
but
I was
Pamela,
saying.
but you are spectacular now.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
yes.
You
Thank
are
you.
spectacular now.
But it
It's
was
all-
hard.
you finish the game. It's not how the game begins.
Listen,
Yes,
I'm
it's
glad I
very
didn't peak
easy.
at 12 or 13 or 16. That's for sure. That's just a downhill for the rest of your life. That's no good. But getting back to this episode, I was
Yes,
saying
thank
to
you.
Dean before we recorded that I couldn't imagine. I mean, mad props to Melissa Gilbert because I could not imagine having to film something like this that's so sensitive about your development and your growth and a romantic while you're actually going through it in real life.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for the entire world to see. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I can ask you, Alison, because you were there. Of just like, how was this really uncomfortable to film? Like, what was
True
it uncomfortable
I mean,
with
there's
the
a
boy she was playing
servicing the
opposite?
Plot. It was like da 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 da.
Yeah,
I'm
just do
going
it.
in.
Yeah.
salter on through.
Yeah, and it's also so human. I mean, everything that she's
Totally.
going through, it's very
Totally.
empathetic. It's not like she's just making a fool of herself. It's so what girls go through during that time. You know, asking her mother, "Do you think I'm pretty?" And on
I mean, it's all wonderful questions that she asks, and you're right. I mean, this is why the description that Alison read. I mean, this is so relatable. I mean, everybody experiences this on some level. I mean, if you're not, okay, you're maybe not be a girl putting, apples in if you're a guy, you're not putting apples in your T-shirt. Okay, got it. But the idea of being accepted, the idea of wondering if you're ever going to amount to anything, this is so human.
if you're attractive,
human.
if you're able to attract,
Being the late bloomer or the early bloomer marks you for life, even if you turn out fine. In your head, you still, I was. But here's the crazy part, and why I'm
so
completely
true.
out of my mind. At school,
tell us.
I was super duper late bloomer. I had skipped a grade somewhere around second, so I was almost a full year younger than my friends.
Oh, wow.
A lot of my friends were
That can be
of
very tough.
Italian and Jewish and Greek extraction, so they indeed developed on schedule or a little ahead, and they were also like a year older than me. And I'm of Irish-Scottish extraction, so yeah. And so, I mean, I used to say I could have gone out riding my bike shirtless at 14. I just forget it. It was like, no, I was I was small for my age. It was always, like I said, in the third grade. Why aren't you in the kindergarten shower? Or sixth grade? Where? So it's ridiculous. I was super late bloomer, and my friends who liked me were like, "Don't worry, soon." But on the set,
I know, because it's a conversation.
I was older on Little House because I was older. I'm older than Melissa Sue Henderson. I'm older than Melissa Gilbert. And they were of Irish-Scottish extraction as well. So weirdly, on the set, I came off as, I guess, the early bloomer, on-time bloomer. I don't know, but I bloomed.
Yeah, but
I
how?
bloomed on that
So
show.
how old were you when you finally bloomed?
I guess like 15.
Because you had a beautiful figure. I mean, really beautiful.
But
Oh my
really,
God! Yeah, I mean, yes,
15 and-
you looked fantastic in the dresses.
15, 16, and then I didn't really, I mean, at 15, it felt like, okay, finally puberty came along at 15.
Yeah.
But I was probably, honestly, 20 or 21 when finally everything settled into place.
Honestly, honestly, I grew in college. I mean, I still developed when I was in college.
Absolutely.
It wasn't over yet. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was the world's longest puberty. But because I was older on the show, and so I got, as in this show, they go on and on about bumps, I was seen as Miss Va-Va-Va-Voom early bloomer on the set, where I spent
in
half my
life,
time. And then
yeah.
at school, I was like, ha, 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 you're adorable.
You were way behind,
I was way behind. This was extraordinarily confusing. So, yes, I'm just scrambled when it comes to that stuff. Scrambled, babe.
But it that would help drive your humor some because you have to find a way to survive all that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in many ways, it served you. It may have been uncomfortable for you, but you did figure out how to manage it.
Yeah, it was like, whoop, whoop, what day is it? Well, on Monday, I'm the oldest girl, and on Tuesday, I'm the weird child. Wait, what is that?
So let's put all the rivalries in motion here.
Okay.
So
Please, what's happening?
so the episode starts off in the schoolyard, a wonderful with one of David Rose's breezy Little House melodies. Da 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 da. It's that wonderful melody, and the children are playing baseball, and there's a new boy with a bat in his hands, Jimmy Hill, who will make a big impression on Laura.
Jimmy Hill is very cute. This is
this
the one
is,
that I'm like, yes, they have a crush. She has a crush.
He
on
is
him,
adorable.
Of course.
He is, by the way, Chris Peterson. He didn't work a lot after Little House,
but this was his first job. Is looking at his IMDb.
Every day was the 4th of July with Katie Kurtzman.
Oh,
Go figure. Yes.
Oh, wow.
There you go. And he was in The Swarm. Lovely, lovely young boy. Very nice kid.
Oh,
was
he
very
did
good
a
in this,
really
too.
nice job
and
in
a cutie
this.
patootie.
Yeah, really, really nice job in this. But so he'll make a big impression on Laura, but not before Laura's tomboy talents, which of course Nellie points out. Everything is being put into place here right up front. Drives in a home run to win the game. Jimmy wants to walk her home. as they're walking along, the boys buzz around Mary. Laura and Jimmy see it as mush and really yucky.
Yucky.
And agree that they'll meet at the pond where romance will ensue, as we will talk about. At home, there's Charles and Jonathan. I think this is really interesting. They're preparing a wagon and we learned that they're preparing for a contest that's going to help them get a shipping contract. Shipping contracts, we did the in-laws later. Overland shipping with wagons and, teams of horses. This was a recurring theme on the list. So this was one of maybe not even the first, but one of those episodes. And then I was involved in one later.
I would think
Michael has this cast on his foot.
Yes, what happened?
So what do you know about the cast?
Here's when, because it was really weird, and it's like, wait, he's really got a cast on. Let's say he's doing my act with the broken arm.
With the arm.
And I remember he'd really hurt himself, but he wasn't gonna we'll take time off, or just like, yeah, we're shooting this. Broken foot, no broken foot. I remember there's things online going, was it this, was it that? It was a sport thing. I think
it was tennis, and it was his ankle. I understand it was his ankle playing tennis.
There was talk where it was tennis skiing. I believe it was skiing.
Okay.
I remember hearing a skiing story. And that may have been it. Because he played a lot of tennis and managed to usually not hurt himself. And so I think there was, let's go skiing. Whoops. And I believe it was either skiing or tennis. And I think at the time I heard skiing and went, well, that's dangerous.
Well, certainly you could do it. But I mean, you think, with ski boots, you're lashed in pretty tight. I mean, I can see people break legs, they fracture tibias, they do all that all the time.
Ouch.
An ankle, that would have taken quite a wrenching in a ski boot to fracture your ankle some way. What I was blown away by is this cast was very modern. This was a totally modern cast, complete with the red rubber shoe on the bottom that for the walking cast.
It was like a sock monkey sock with the red heel.
Yeah.
I just put a big old sock on and went, good enough.
Yeah.
Well, when he was hobbling around at first, I was like, are they trying to hide the fact that he's wearing a But then he acknowledges it in the scene of like, I got this busted, I'll be great to sit on a wagon for days on end because I can't walk around with this busted
I can't
foot.
hobble behind hobble
But
behind
it was
a plow.
also very clear that Michael Landon hurt himself and they had to work it into this episode.
He's like,
somehow.
I'm writing it in.
Totally.
Yeah, and he was not going to I think this speaks volumes to Michael's commitment to delivery and so on. He was not going to allow something like this to impede production at all. And I think he was so confident that if he just invested fully in what what the thing was about and not focus on this, he has to acknowledge it. Yeah. If you're going to see it, you have to acknowledge it. But not dwell on it and move on. And I think the audience you just accept it because you see people have casts.
You work it in.
He just let it happen. And good for him.
Skateboarding, they put the Doc Baker splint over my great big plaster 1970s cast and went, off you go. We're not stopping this train.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we did it.
Yeah. So, all right. So they're Jonathan and Charles are involved in a contest. And so their rivalry is this other team. It's two teams, two wagons, same load. The first one to Mankato gets the contract, and that's their setup. Now, we come to find out that rivalry is different than that, too.
Did you love the scene with Caroline, though, when they're fixing up the wagon? Okay. Again, Pamela will know. Have we not had this conversation with our husbands at some point? They're fixing up the wagon. They're having to do all this, and there's like a new wheel and all. And she goes, you could just rent a wagon and not have to completely rebuild this one. Do you want to take this one and have
but that's no fun.
And he's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. We just got to do this. And she keeps going, so are you sure you want to do, and asking what are actually very logical kind of thought. And it appears that she may have spent more time thinking about this, and it's not clear that they're as well planned out as maybe. And yes, I've seen that. It's like, well, we can take it to our mechanic, or we could just get a rental car. The wife is being very, very practical about this, and like, why aren't you wearing gloves? Why aren't you wearing things
to put the grease on the axle? Right. Yeah, because my hands work better. But what this was really about, what they were foreshadowing, was her discomfort with the fact that her husband was going to be leaving.
Right.
That Charles was going to be leaving. And we find out in the next scene how long he's going to be leaving. And then he suggests how extensively longer it could be after that. So now this theme, the Caroline, concern about missing Charles, that's a pretty important theme, and it's not verbalized a lot. She's playing it really well. She's giving it but it's not on paper for her to talk about. But so you have to watch you have to watch through it a couple of times to really detect what's going on with her. And Karen always did a great job.
I know, she's so good.
She was playing what needed to be played.
Yeah.
So
And
she was
gone
really
away
good.
before for long periods, and it's been shown that was really hard on the family. Also, remember, there's no cell phones.
There's no
And
phone.
all
Yeah,
things
no,
you've
you're
gone
completely
through
gone.
And
are
she has to
inherently
run the farm
dangerous.
herself. She has to take care of it. Like all the chores she'd have to
Everything
do
is
by
her.
herself. I
she
don't know how
doesn't
that
know
would be
if he's-
sustainable.
When he went off and was blowing things up and stuff, it was really dangerous, and there was no way that someone was going to call her
No.
and say, "Oh, he's been hurt."
Right.
She just had to wait for a letter to arrive or him not to come home.
Right.
And so that's kind of terrifying. That
Yeah,
you
the
go,
stakes are
"Great,
very
have a nice
high."
day at work, but maybe he's not making it back.
This was also an opportunity for a little jocular humor between Charles and Jonathan, where he jokes about his hands being greasy, and you must be the hardest working man given how filthy you are. And then Laura comes home and she wants to go frogging, and that's great. And then Jonathan retorts with, "Well, you wouldn't look so great with frog legs," and he says, "I like frog legs." Well, you wouldn't look so great with
Dad humor.
frog legs. Very Michael humor
Yark,
there.
yark.
And I thought, interesting, Merlin was He really was coachable. I mean, given being the world-class athlete that he was, he understood being coached, and he was willing to be coached. And I think Michael must have just marveled at how quickly. And I thought he was particularly good in this. I thought he did. Sometimes it's watch him and you see him working for it, but this felt very organic to me, the way he
Well,
did
yes,
it.
he understood teamwork, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Rams, for heaven's sake.
Absolutely.
So
He's
to
also
put him
very-
in, he could do it.
He's also
Yeah.
very effortless. He's just easy and
Yeah.
truthful.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
all you need.
Absolutely. So really nice there. So, okay, now we go to the pond. This is the big moment for Laura. This is the transformational moment. Who wants to talk about this? They go to the pond, which is right next to the little house, which we don't know the way they shoot it, but it's right there at the little house.
Well,
This
Laura
is
and
also
Jimmy,
one of the
yes.
love themes. The love theme happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Laura and Jimmy go to the pond. She sees the mother lode of all frogs, a huge one. She tries to snatch it up and falls into the pond. Jimmy runs to try and help get her out, and he falls into the pond.
Well, I think she pulls him in.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
if
'cause
it was
he's trying to
intentional
save
or
her,
not.
and
He's trying. He reaches his hand out, and she grabs it, and then he
Loses his
yanked
balance.
in.
Okay. It looked like he tugged her, or she tugged him, but
I
okay.
mean, I'm sure that's how they did it, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's
Not what
it's
the
supposed
intention
to
was.
seem like. Yes.
Yeah.
And that frog was tied with a wire, fishing line. Because
I was wondering how they got the frog.
You know, they
to
had
stick
frog
around.
handles, so the frog's fine because there's no cruelty to animals. It was the law then, but they did. Some frog handler had to go. Here you go, and the fishing line. Don't move, froggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that frog
yeah.
was very well behaved. Anyway, so when they get out of the pond, they get very close to each other, and then ding, 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 ding. Love is in the air. Laura realizes, oh, this guy's kind of cute, and she clearly realizes she has a massive crush on this guy.
He's got
Cue
wet
the
hair,
romantic
and she
theme.
sees him in a suit. She goes, and he's in a suit. It's
Daydream.
He's sort of transformed into some kind of prairie Rhett Butler, is what I thought.
Yes,
Decided,
and what
you know.
kills me is the mutton chops.
Yeah, the mutton
that are
chops.
glued onto
That was
his
bonkers.
face.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Also, the wind is blowing, so you can see the gap between his hair and where they stuck on the mutton chop.
The music was driving me batty because
This is the tough part about high resolution now.
Yeah, high
can
res.
see
You
it.
see it
Right.
right.
In 480 with 480 lines of resolution, you just didn't see that stuff.
No. And it's the
David
first time I
Rose
noticed
goes
it. I was like, oh my God.
bananas in here. The love themes, and I finally went, what the heck about it's that da 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 da. It's Wagner. It's the Tristan and Isolde.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the love theme. And then the other one they do back at the house, which they play over and over and again. Da 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 da. So This Is Love
Yes.
from frickin' Cinderella.
Cinderella.
They are playing Cinderella, so This Is Love, and Tristan and Isolde love theme, and like 47 times throughout the show. They're just like constantly. I'm like, what is happening? In this?
Meanwhile,
calm down.
Meanwhile, he is not going through this magical transition. So he's looking at her like she's nuts. Like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing.
Well, I think, look, I think this was part of and this is what made it okay, is that the young boys were always obtuse in these moments.
Yes,
and didn't get what was happening to Laura, which made it so all of her longing was perfectly fine because it was not being responded to.
Right.
Nobody was
Except
taking
maybe in the
up on
dream,
anything.
later. But yeah, I think this was the guys were always, including what I was asked to do. It was always pretty benign. The response.
Jason, Johnny Johnson, they were all like, let's go fishing. What?
Yeah, what is this? Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's what made it work, and I think that's what made it wonderfully romantic for young girls.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then cut back to the house, and he and
Charles
Jonathan-
hobbles into the room. His foot hurts. He lays out the facts to so he's laying out what this contest is going to be.
Yes.
He and Jonathan will be gone for a week. It's 1 day. What was it? 1 day to Sleepy Eye, and then 3 days each to 3 days to Mankato and 3 days back.
3 days, and then
I don't. So it's 7 days
week.
altogether. Yeah.
And
and
he
they
doesn't die along the way. Yes.
Yeah, right. If they get the contract, they'll be gone for much longer. So, Charles is laying out all this information, and you're cutting to Caroline. Caroline is not saying much.
No.
But you can see the unhappiness, and Charles sees it, but he asks the question, what a man's got to do the best he can for his family. And this is Ma and Pa's dichotomy in this. It's like, what is best for a man's family?
Right.
And that is really the larger question for them, is what.
Have you ever known anyone who's a long haul trucker?
I haven't.
Trucker, I know a family that it pays really well. It's a very well paying job with great benefits. Many of the companies, if you get a trucking job, but you're gone for
You're never
days
home.
or more at a time.
Yeah, you're never
And many
home.
of them will set a schedule. I've known a couple of families who've done it, and I think about it, where Monday through Friday, Sunday night they had dinner with family and said goodbye and were gone Monday through Friday, and then came back late Friday night or early Saturday morning. And did this, and then would have a little vacation here and there. But they did that continuously. The money they brought in was able to pay all of the bills and keep the family out of debt and support many, many children. And they at some point made a choice to do it. But they didn't come home for sometimes weeks.
Yeah.
And they had to decide to do this. And that's, I think, what Caroline is seeing is, oh my God, he's going to be a trucker. He's going to do regular delivery.
Well.
He will leave for a week.
She can't conceptualize truckers, but she can certainly conceptualize what it means to be gone. Yeah, I mean that's a lot, and this does raise. I mean, this is as you suggest. At the time, here we're watching this in the late '70s. I mean, this is a very common reality for a lot of families. They're living this. A lot of families, people watching this episode, are living this, and they're living it today.
Yeah,
you're living this experience of loved ones making career decisions. I mean, my God, when I was doing the Faraday program for NBC Golf, I was largely out of town for 9 months a year doing this. I would come home every 3 weeks, but I was gone for a lot of time. But I will say that the job was totally worth it. And the fact that Catherine and I were both people who understood what our world was, that made it tolerable. I don't think maybe another woman might not have been so able to deal with that.
Yeah.
But it was a great job. And this is what Charles is envisioning. This is this great job. He knows it's going to be challenging, but this is their rivalry. Charles has got a potential rivalry with a competitor, and Caroline has a rivalry with the job.
Yippers.
And then enter Laura, who's still in her romance-buzzed state.
Yes.
And she's soaking wet because she fell into the pond. And then we go to her bath scene, which is interesting. I mean, the scene itself is adorable, but the fact that we do see her sort of topless in this tub is not something that would happen today.
It was a little. I remember watching that. Now, of course, is it Mary who gets the line of like, "Why is she like that?" I think she found something more interesting, a frog. And
Yes.
Pa does,
Oh, that's early. Yes.
The dad
Yes, and
take. The
Pa-
dad take.
Pa
What
reacts.
are you saying? What are you saying? But she's in the tub. Now, this is weird because, nowadays you go, whoa, the child.
I mean, the water covers.
She is
covers, but
clearly
there's a lot
wearing
exposed.
something. She's got on a bathing suit. She is not actually naked.
Yes,
or
right.
She'd be wearing a bathing suit. But you see upper chest that appears to
Yeah.
be like, oh, she's not covered there. But then the water's like up to here.
Right.
But for a lot of people, it's like a little jarring today.
Yeah.
Also, here's the kooky thing. So this aired in 78, but January. So we would have
January of
shot it
78, right.
somewhere late 77. So let's see, 15, 16. So she's 13. She's almost 40. She's not 8. She's not 8 sitting naked in a
Yeah.
bathtub. This is a 13, almost 14-year-old girl sitting in a bathtub. Now, as of course after playing, she looks very young for her age. She is she's not developed.
She's so sweet
You see her
looking,
for
yes.
2 seconds, and that's kind of, they may have even done it because this girl looks like a much younger girl sitting in
Yeah.
the tub. It is completely innocent. She's still a child
Yes.
bathing in the
Yes.
tub, sitting there uncovered,
Yes.
Right.
like a little kid would be,
Right.
not a grown-up woman.
Right.
And that may be part of it.
Yeah.
But yes, nowadays we'd go, whoa, hey, is she covered? And, you can't tell that, she... I don't know. Is there a flesh-covered tube top? I can't see.
I think you
was
can
thinking,
see a
like,
flesh-colored tube
zooming
top.
in.
Yeah.
It's like she's somewhat covered, and then the water's up to here. But yes, would you film that now? No, people are having a bloody heart attack.
Yeah. It was even like when I saw her in the tub. Yes.
But
But
anyway,
anyway,
we have this demented conversation.
well,
like, what?
the conversation is so, I mean, it's so funny, but it is also very truthful. So she's talking to Mary, the big sister, the hottie on the prairie. Clearly, all the boys are buzzing around her. And she asks Mary about this, like, how come all the boys are always around you? And Mary's like, I don't know. And it seems like the least I pay attention to them, the more they are.
I love that.
Well,
I ignore them.
I think the thing that she says that's really relevant to the episode and what the episode is trying to say is, I don't do anything.
Right.
I don't do anything. The more I ignore a boy, the harder they try, or the more the more they're interested. But she's not doing anything to create this energy. She's just being herself, which
chasing
is
nothing.
for Laura. That's the test: is can
Right,
I just
exactly.
be myself and be okay?
But then she wants to know, like, how many boys have you kissed? And it's like,
Yeah.
Mary, boys, plural.
None of your business, Mary says.
None of
Yeah.
your business.
Heavens.
And then she was like, and then she asked, like, what is... Oh, wait, no. But first she brings up John Jr. She was like, well, I know you obviously kissed John Jr. because you were engaged to him. Which, hello, as you were saying, Allison, before we started recording, maybe the first time ever anyone has called back a previous episode or previous
Yeah.
experience.
They do.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't. When people go to the vortex, as you
Yes.
know, on the prairie, they disappear. We usually
Forever.
we kind of don't talk of. Once in a while, they'll say, "Remember so and so," and I'm like, "Wow, they still remember them."
But rarely
In this episode, we bring up John Jr. and we bring up Sims, Luke,
right.
because no one does. Even though Miss Beadle is married, Mistress, it's just
Well,
Luke.
and Miss B and Charlotte is credited as in the opening title as Eva Sims.
Sims.
So she's
she's a
the
married
marriage
lady.
is
Married Adam,
acknowledged.
but we never see him, and we certainly
No.
don't see her stepson Luke, who should still be there. But they've gone away, and for some reason, in this episode, and only this episode, as far as I can tell, Laura brings everybody up. Everyone who's ever left of the vortex.
Yeah.
She's going, so what happened to the guy?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even Mary looks kind of stunned.
Yeah.
that she's brought it up.
Yeah. And then she wants to know, like, what does kissing feel like? And these are just very sweet questions a little girl would ask.
Of
and
course.
Mary's like, why do you care? You always said that it's yucky. And then Laura's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, yuck.
Yeah, yuck.
She says as she sinks down into the water and rinses her hair again. Yeah, I think that's a very God, who isn't curious about that? I don't know.
Of course.
Do girls talk to each other about what kissing feels like? I mean, that's not a conversation that the guys
don't have that.
necessarily are going
I
to
think
have.
girls definitely do.
At the very least, if you have an older sister, an older friend, you go, so you have a boyfriend? How did you get a boyfriend? Is it weird having a boyfriend? What do you and your boyfriend do? Is it fun? How did you get a boyfriend? Why does he like you? Yes, absolutely. How did you get a boyfriend? Because you were trying to get it. Even if getting a boyfriend means you're going to go for a Coke after school, like nothing is happening, you're still like, how do you get a boyfriend? Yes, and you do quiz the older girls.
I remember my first spin the bottle party, not first spin the bottle party, but the spin the bottle party where it was with tongue spin the bottle party and coming home and
Sorry, now what? Tongues in the bottle party?
Well, spin the bottle where,
Right.
spin, kiss. This one you went to French kiss.
Did you do?
So it was the first time I had
in heaven. In the
Yeah,
closet?
it was one of those. It was with my friend at the time, Mike Tosney. Shout out to Mike Tosney. He's a firefighter now. What's up, Mike? And so we French kissed, and I remember coming home, and my sister, because I guess my sister knew that there was something going on at this party, and she was like, "So how was it?" And I remember being like, I didn't like it, but I can imagine liking it if it's with someone you really, really like. She was like, "Okay, cool," but my older sister was there to sort of like talk me through it and make sure I was okay and what my experience was and yada yada.
Yeah.
So weird. Bodies are weird. Kids are weird.
Bodies
are so weird. What are we doing?
Well, what we do with them in the in the heat of passion is
ridiculous.
Is wild.
Wild.
It's. But yeah, I love that she does it's almost stunning for Little House because Laura is asking the questions that probably several billion girls.
But it's a nice sister moment, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But then she brings up all the ex-boyfriends.
I know she sure
like,
does.
Whoa.
But then we go to bed that night. Mary and Laura.
Yes.
And Laura has a romantic dream, and with the beautiful curly hair and a fancy dress, and the boy is again sporting the mutton chops and a suit, and they're running
hand
up
in
the
hand.
hill, slow-mo, and then he sort of wraps her around and dips her down to give her this kiss, and they fall, and we cut to Laura, who has literally fallen out of bed, and that's how she wakes up. And this time Mary is not the nice, compassionate sister. She's like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, she gets so weird, and Mary repeatedly keeps walking in just as she's doing something embarrassing.
Yes.
What now? What is happening?
Well, there is at the end of Act 1, Laura has climbed back into bed, rolls over, and we see as we push in, she's savoring the dream as we fade to black at the end of Act 1.
And that's, I think, that Ma and Pa are going to, that's when we get the Cinderella, if this is love.
Now, I kept thinking,
playing like mad.
When you get the rare chance on Little House on the Prairie to be beautiful, like with the fancy dress and the fancy hair, and Melissa's hair was so incredible, but they were always in those damn braids, so you couldn't see just how beautiful it was. It must have been such a treat for her, even though she had to do the romantic stuff with the boy, which I don't know if she minded or not, but
she didn't look like she minded.
No, she did this so well.
She had like Brooke Shields' hair.
Oh my God, her hair.
Yeah.
And when they would braid it and they would take it out at the end of the day, that was a great thing. It took her, where hair came out at the end of the day, hers would come out in these gorgeous waves. It was stunning. Now, mine would come out and my hair had been pressed into the wig and except for 2 pieces that had been curled into
and
the wig.
Sweating.
And you know what I look? I look like a yeshiva student. I look like a rabbinical student.
Oh, I do have hair envy for sure with Melissa. Hair envy for sure.
Beautiful.
I mean, I'm going to say after everything that we've come to understand, I'm going to think that none of these moments were easy, but perhaps for her, but she was such a.
She's a pro.
She was going to do what was asked of her.
She was
never going to push back on what was being asked of her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was around the same age too. I mean, he was a cutie patootie. If you're going to play a romantic scene, that's the
Yeah.
Okay, now we're in Act too.
Right.
That was a long
So
act
yeah,
one, was it not?
well, we took a long time to get through it, but yeah,
Maybe it's just us.
So we start. So Laura comes in. She's in the farmyard, and she comes in, and she has the conversation with Ma about her hair's down, and she wants to go to school with her hair down because she needs a change. And so Pamela, we were talking about this question before we started. This such a natural thing for a conversation for a girl to have with her mother. What happens there?
Well, she asks her, so she wants to go to school. She says she's too old for these braids, and I'm going, yes, girl, yes. But then, of course,
I knew
that
you'd
doesn't
like
last.
that moment.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, keep it.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. But anyway, and she wants to wear her, fancy pinafore, and she wants to look uber feminine and pretty. But then she asks her mother, "Do you think I'm pretty?" And her mother's like, "Of course." And she said, "But as pretty as Mary." And I know, like gut punch. And Ma's awesome in this episode. She's so cool.
Yes.
She's like, "You are you, and Mary is Mary."
Yes,
They're
what a
both
great
beautiful.
answer that
Thank you.
is.
Perfect answer.
What a great
Again, I was
answer.
watching this with Margot, and after this scene, she looked up at me and she said, "Mommy, do you think I'm beautiful?" And I always tell Margot she's beautiful. And I went, "Yes, of course. I think you're absolutely beautiful." And then she went, "No, but are you just saying that, Mom? Are you just?" And I was like, "Margot, no, you are absolutely beautiful."
Are you saying that because you have to? Because you're my mom?
Yes, right, exactly.
Now, here's what's crazy. This is in the books. If we're in the books, I believe it's in Big Woods. Laura is jealous of Mary's blonde hair. And in the books goes on about that she thinks she's prettier. And there's an aunt who comes to visit, who I remember reading it going, who let this aunt talk to the children like this and didn't slap her upside the head? Some crazy aunt shows up for visit and
Is this Aunt Dosha or something?
Starts going on about how Mary is the pretty one.
Oh,
and saying, well, she's so much prettier. I mean, you have the brownie hair. And going on about how brunettes are at a disadvantage. And just comes right, and they're tiny, they're little girl, and starts telling her that Mary is prettier. And Ma has to, what?
And this is where it begins, right here.
Do the damage. So it's in the books that Laura had issues. And the musical, there's a whole number, was it Perfect, or where she sings about Mary being so bloody perfect all the time and everything. So this is a real thing in Laura Ingalls' life.
Yeah,
about
interesting.
Mary prettier than me. This is the real thing.
Yeah, yeah. It is. Well, and it's so, I think the intuition that this is so human for us to wonder where we fit in with the people around us. Where do we stand? Are we enough? Asking your mother if you're pretty, or if for a young boy, am I? I don't know if the boy, am I handsome? I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know that I ever asked that question to my mother, but yeah, I
know that boys get insecure like that too.
Of course, we're all. Oh my God, yes. When you're in puberty and your face is exploded with pimples, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, is this ever going to end?"
Because my adolescent experience was so difficult and really, really painful. I just always thought boys did not go through the type of things that I went through until I had my own son and realized, oh no, they're just as insecure. I mean, they go through it too. It's been really fascinating.
The voice cracking thing.
Yes, that's a big one. The squeaking voice. Yes, that's a big one.
I just didn't realize the guys went through the body image stuff pretty much as the girls go through I mean, I think in society things are tougher on girls than they are boys, but they still go through the same things. I think that it's just in a different way,
And in a weird way, it's terrible because they're often not allowed to talk about it. You expect girls to talk about it, but the boys are thinking the exact same thing. Going, I can't tell anybody.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's brutal.
Yeah.
Totally brutal. I couldn't imagine living that way.
All right. So Ma says, "Of course you're beautiful."
Of course you're beautiful.
And so she goes up to the loft. This is a really sweet scene. She goes up to the loft, and she's practicing. She's fussing with her hair, and then she looks at the mirror and she starts practicing kissing with the mirror as she's looking at the mirror and kissing it. That's a very. I mean, so all right. Did either of you practice kissing on a mirror?
Probably. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that would not be hard to imagine that I had done at some
Yeah.
point. I just cannot imagine. And again, props to MG. I could not imagine being 13
Yeah,
and having to do
that.
this.
Yeah.
And then
in front
Mary
of the
walks
world.
in and makes it cringe.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm just
Very
polishing
funny
the
comedic
mirror.
moment, though. Just polishing, and she also did that so well. The way
Yes,
that
she
she
did.
did this whole scene was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next, Charles and Jonathan getting ready to leave. Right.
So we've jumped. Now we're entering the contest, the shipping contest, and they're leaving from I'm sleepy eyed to Mankato for the 3 day. Right. I just don't remember it being that long. We always said we were going to Mankato. I don't think of it as being like that it was a 3 day journey, but okay, it was a 3 day journey in this episode.
Maybe
again,
Sleepy Eye was the 1 day journey and Mankato was the 3 day journey.
Something.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't as big a deal in most of the series, I don't think. So meet you in Mankato and they're off and there's a little jocular back and forth about how you're going to be eating our dust. But this is the big moment. So they're off on that journey. Now the girls are walking to school. We cut back
cringe.
to Walnut Grove. And
Laura's
Laura
there with her hair down and the ribbon in her hair and the pinafore, and she goes up to Jimmy and says, because she has no swagger whatsoever. She has no game. Laura has no game. Not even an
You've been
idea
very
of a
clear
game.
about this throughout 3 years of this podcast.
Oh my
You
God,
have
it's
told
so
every
cringe.
time Laura has no game.
Zero game. She's like, do you notice any
beautifully awkward,
awkward,
perfectly and beautifully
Perf-
awkward
yes.
in every moment.
Yes. And she's like,
perfect.
notice anything different? And he's like, no. You
Just
look
like
exactly
the same old Laura to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no hair difference whatsoever. Does she even say like my hair? My
She
hair
does.
is down, and he's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
why?
yeah,
And-
yeah.
Yeah.
hair
Well,
today.
Yeah,
now
my
it's
hair-
going to be
he's like,
more
well,
for you
it'll get in the
to
way
take
of
care
it.
of or something.
Yeah, it'll get in the way of baseball. Why is it down?
Exactly.
Wah, wah,
And
wah.
in that moment, Jimmy meets Sam, the new girl in overalls from I've never seen a girl in overalls,
Never.
on the prairie. That's sort of an
Yes.
interest. That was a very Oshkosh kind of look for the time.
Very modern overalls. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, it happened, but to school, they wouldn't let her wear them to school, I don't think. I couldn't wear pants to school until like 1971.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
had to wear, I think we got to wear pants to school in the 3rd or 4th grade or something. So, yeah, knowing that in the 1960s, public school said, no, you got to wear a dress. I'm thinking the 1800s. Girls probably did out on the farm sometimes put on pants to do work in real life. Of course they did
In
at some
private.
point. But to go to school with all the other girls in dresses, I think the teacher probably would have said, yeah, nah.
She was way ahead of her time. That Sam, but I don't know. It's like the obvious name. That's a boy name, Sam. The wearing the pants, the being the athlete, like it's just kind of like you guys.
Well,
this is
just
very on the
amplifying
nose.
tomboy all
Yeah.
the way.
And Nellie was having none of it because when Laura was even playing, Nellie was like we'd say nowadays, policing people's gender expression. You're being too much of a tomboy and you're not doing this. It's like, Nellie,
Totally.
mind your own business.
Totally.
But Nellie was going to tell everybody how to act and what was appropriate behavior for feminine girls.
Right.
And it's like, she must have hated Samantha. Good
And
heavens.
she does hate Sam because Sam is now getting attention from Jimmy because he just wants to play ball, and she's playing ball, and Laura is not playing ball now.
So this is she's getting her first. Laura's getting her first taste of. Well, we're going to find out where all this comes from as she sits down in a moment with. God knows why she comes to Nellie for advice, but okay. Now in the meantime, Charles, they've been driving all night. Jonathan wakes up. They look down, and there's their competitor.
They're only 10
a half a
miles from
mile
Mankato.
ahead of them on the road.
Right, and they thought that they were the first in line. They're only 10 miles. They're getting ready for their little victory lap to be the winners when they see the other competitors who have sort of cheated by not taking the main road.
Well, as Charles says, they haven't cheated. They outfoxed us. I mean, he said, they probably knew every
went
shortcut
right off.
in the
Right.
territory, which
Right.
that's perfectly fair.
Right.
But they went off that main road and they're hauling
Yep.
through ravines and streams,
right.
which will come back to bite them in
They
the
sure
rear.
will. So,
Yes,
so they're
it
very
will.
deflated because they're like, okay, I guess we lost. Back to school.
Yeah.
Laura sees Jimmy talking to that Sam.
That Sam. Yeah.
And she makes a ridiculous decision to talk to Nellie.
Because as we established, bumps. When do I get bumps? Even Nellie's got them.
Was that the first bump? Was that the first bump conversation?
That was the old bump conversation. Even Nellie's got them. I just about died over that when I cracked up. Because indeed, I was, 70 shot and 77 show didn't say, I was turning 16 in 78. So yeah, in January. So I was late 15. So bumps had arrived. I was 15 after months waiting.
But didn't you say something about the advantage of having a figure?
Well, yes.
Exactly.
And then you're sort of like, it's a shot
you-
is sort of very loose. It's not exactly accentuated, but clearly we can see your figure
Laura
in the
has
corner of the frame.
mentioned
Yes.
my bumps earlier, and indeed, comments were made about my development on the set. No, like cat
of course
comments
they were.
polite, but comments were made. I will say our crew were really cool. I know other young women who are on other shows. When they became teenagers, the crew would like catcall them or say rude things to them. I'm like taken out and foster.
Serious.
But yeah, as it happens, we did not. The closest to a maybe slightly questionable borderline comment that I ever got was I had taken off some of my costume as I would do for lunch, so I had on a little tiny T-shirt over like the camisole. So whatever I had, you could definitely notice. And I think I was probably a good 16, full grown by then. And I was chugging a small carton of milk, as was my wont to do. I always drank my milk, my calcium as a young person. And two of the crew guys just stood there sort of staring, blinking. And one of them turned to the other and they looked at each other and they quietly shrugged. And then one of them said, I don't know. It must be all that milk. And that is what they said. And I thought, okay, well, that's not horrible. And it was
it's not horrible.
done. It's like, okay, that's fine. And I said, well, I do drink my milk every day. But yeah, so it was noticed. Now, the
Wow.
biggest notice of it was the whole thing when I got that swimsuit. Gladys, the fabulous Gladys, had that Scarpelli gold swimsuit. And the whole thing was whoever can fit in it first gets it. And
Oh, wow.
still in my closet, babe. Yeah, so I did. And I look good in it too. You couldn't swim
bet.
in this thing, but it was fabulous to wear. So comments were made about my development. It was definitely a topic of the stage mothers. It was a topic of discussion.
Oh, wow.
There's stuff in my book about that, and the one cat call, and it was from a woman. Oh my god, so insane. So there was a lot of focus attention. So indeed, Nellie is supposed to have developed. High res, yes, I am in full puberty. You can totally see my face break out.
Yeah, you can with Mary too. Her face is a mess.
I got the what was the really good stuff you put on, not the Clearasil, the one that had
retin A, or it's
hadn't been invented yet. It was the
Okay.
other one that had the acid in. So I had the really
Yeah.
good, and then good old Whitey Snyder was like, yes, we have ways of this, and painting and spackling and trying to fix everything as best we could. But and half the time he got away with it too. But
what could be worse for a kid with acne than have oily makeup all over your skin all day? I mean, talk about putting gasoline on a fire. That would have been a
found
little
out
tough.
That the chlorine in the swimming pool at my apartment was really good for clearing up acne. So sometimes I just jump in right
Just
after
dried
work.
everything out.
Yeah.
And Wade even said sometimes taking off the makeup was harder on the skin than putting it on. You'd irritate things. We said be irritated.
Oh, interesting.
So it was a nightmare. And I had braces. It was like braces, and I was like, it was horrible. But so I am held up as the grown-up woman because, as Laura says again, bringing up the boyfriends, but you had Luke. You were married. You were married.
Right.
And I said, yeah, for about 10 minutes. And I love Nellie is being cautious and suspicious. Laura's coming up and I'm like, why are you here? And she's asking me, I'm like, what do you want to know? Why are you asking me things? I'm like, where is this going? Why
Totally.
is Laura coming up to me? I'm concerned that this is a problem. And then when she finally says, yes, but you got him to like you. And I go, fair enough. What do you want to know?
Yeah.
She's like, how did you get him? And then I go, well, of course, because I am so beautiful and I am so fabulous and I am so this and having a figure, and then I love, and my disposition Yes, and Laura's going, yes, so I've heard. But the best one, because Pamela, yes, you said, the Miss Piggy syndrome, that Nellie lapses into Miss Piggy. I shove a bunch of food in my mouth, go, daintiness. Because daintiness is all about being
So good.
daintiness is very, very important. I was doing a Catherine McGregor with that.
You
I
sure
was
were.
loving it
Well, this whole
so
speech
hard.
was literally like, oh, this is what her mother says, and she is repeating it verbatim. This was my favorite part of that scene. You said, you sit up straight, sits up, and say, of course, a good figure helps. And
Okay.
it is so obtuse. Yeah,
so
hilarious.
Freaking hilarious. Yes, when I shoved the food, I go, daintiness, I went, yep, full Miss Piggy. Went full Miss Piggy.
And it's
so
it's
good.
after this scene that Laura then goes home and is like, when
the
am I
perfume?
gonna get bumps? Yes.
This is the killer because then
Yeah,
she
smell
says,
good,
she says,
smell
what do I
good.
do? And you just smell good. Perfume, you know. Oh, my mom has perfume, but it's very
Yes.
expensive.
Toilet
Oh,
water.
no. That's for what you need is toilet water. And this is a running joke in the show about not understanding French things. Eau de toilette.
It's because
toilet
that
water,
French
of course.
things are
So
very
what's the
sophisticated.
difference for those who do, between eau de
Perfume and
toilette
eau de
and
toilette.
perfume? What's the
It's
is it
super
one
lighter.
stronger?
It's
Is
lighter.
one-
Toilet water.
It's not
I
as
guess it's
potent.
aftershave and cologne, I guess. Eau de toilette would be a very light scent, very diluted, that you would have at your dressing table, your toilette. And then back then they didn't have dial deodorant, so when you were fixing yourself up after a bath, you'd dab on a little eau de toilette, like body spray, and you'd smell nice. Now, if you had a little more money, or you were going out in the evening, then it was perfume, the heavy duty stuff, which you tiny little dabs, where you might spray nowadays, even eau de toilette.
Laura put it on her mother's perfume.
Oh
like,
my God, she doused it on
The
herself.
historical thing about toilet water, because Laura goes, toilet water, and thinks she's being insulted.
Right.
Toilet, obviously, eau de toilette literally means toilet water. So you would say toilet water as many people have said on Facebook, okay, yeah, they had toilets. They were coming in. Not everybody had an outhouse. And yes, Mrs. Olm got a toilet. But was it in common enough parlance by that time, way out in the country,
That she
to
would
speak
know
English,
what that was?
that
Sure.
she would say, oh, you mean the water in a toilet? Because Laura didn't have one at her house.
Right.
And would have seen one once, maybe. So it probably not in her day-to-day speech, and probably would not have said, oh no, toilet water. She would have said, what the heck are you talking about? So yes, it's a serving the story Michael Landon gag, yark, 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 because later we have another one, not understanding the French shtick later, and it's a running gag. But yes, the famous toilet water joke. I love the famous toilet water joke, and I so love danger. Yes. I enjoyed that scene enormously, filming it. It was lovely.
All right. Well, that's the end of Act 2, and let's.
Well,
take a
actually, it's
break.
not the end
Oh,
of
what?
Act 2,
Why?
but there's more of Act 2. I just
What?
had to stop transcribing there.
Oh, what
Okay,
what else
okay.
happens in end of
Well,
Act
let's
2?
let's
the
see what
bumps.
else.
What's going on?
She does say, "When do I get bumps?" After
When do I
this.
get-
Well,
Nellie
so
asked
so
for it.
before Act 2 ends, they've arrived in Mankato, and that's when they do an inspection of the goods
Of course.
on the wagon,
Love that.
and they find the competitor has broken dishes,
Broken all the
and
dishes.
Charles and Jonathan's are clean, and they get the contract.
The
And they get
smug
the contract
guys who
after
took
all.
the shortcut, they opened that barrel, and I laughed so hard when
Yeah.
all them broken dishes
Yeah.
came out. Nah, wah, wah, wah.
And then they're like, we're going to celebrate. We're going to, which also seemed very unlike both of them to be like, we're going to spend tons of money on a fancy dinner tonight in a fancy hotel.
Have they even gotten paid yet?
I know,
what
they
is
haven't.
happening? Yeah.
And then
We're off to the
hysterically,
restaurant.
they're so excited, and Garvey literally picks up Charles and carries him away, which is hilarious. And you actually see how small Michael Landon is, and how
thank you.
big, how big Merlin Olsen is.
Merlin was huge. Merlin was huge.
Yes.
Now, the actors, again, I got a little plug here. So it's this guy, Cy is the guy from the company. He was friends with Marlon Brando and Wally Cox in New York. And it was Marlon Brando who encouraged him to come to L.A. and
Oh
be
my
in show
God.
business. And he wound up actually being an inker and pencil person for Marvel Comics in the early days and drew some of your favorite comics.
Oh, wow.
And then all of his stuff was really weird Western stuff because he was on Star Trek, but it was the episode where they send them to the 1800s, the OK Corral, and he was Doc Holliday. What? So yes, bonkers. Yep.
So all right, so they win the competition. They go and have the escargot. So they have that other French moment, in the
beautiful restaurant with all those
in the
extras.
beautiful
Listen, you know
restaurant.
it's fancy
Right.
because there are a lot of ferns.
Yes,
happening.
right.
Ferns.
Ferns.
So
the
many
beautiful
ferns in
nature
every
tree.
corner.
Monsieur Francois was Mr. Leon Belasco.
He's so good.
Not French. He played a lot of Russians. He's actually Russian, and he played Russians, French, anything exotic. All the good spy shows. He was a Russian spy in like everything.
Wow.
He was various foreign, and he was, being a Russian, the dialogue coach for the hilarious 60s Cold War comedy, The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming.
Wow.
He was the
And he was
dialogue
the freaking,
coach?
because he's Russian. He was like the guy for the Russian accents. He was the accent
Wow.
coach for The Russians Are Coming.
So
The Russians Are
random.
Coming.
Wow, that's
He's in
awesome.
Twilight Zone. He's one of those guys. I love him. I love this guy. He's you gotta look at all
He
his
was
stuff.
great
He's
in
great.
that scene.
So-
So, is this
so-
still Act 2? Or they're
Yes,
in
it
the
is. So then we
Oh,
get, so
my
Laura,
goodness.
then we cut, after that, we cut home. It's morning again. Laura is slathering the toilet water or the perfume on. She's
Mom's
putting it
good.
on like
Perfume.
aftershave and goes off to school. And, Jimmy decides that it stinks. There's a horrible smell. It's like a skunk
like,
or
it smells
something.
like
I can't
probably a
imagine
dead
it would be
rat.
that bad.
Dead rat. A dead.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What is Ma wearing? In
I
her
know.
perfume?
I'm like, lemon verbena? Gone
Yeah, right.
bad? Yes.
So, and then,
that's cool.
okay, so we're still continuing in Act 2. It's nighttime. Now, we cut to the little house. Ma is in bed crying.
Can I just do a quick shout out back to the restaurant scene because
Oh my God,
they
'cause-
don't know what to order. They don't know how to read. It's all French.
Right.
It's French food.
Escargot.
They
Escargot.
escargot. They just tell the waiter, just give us the best stuff. And the first thing, obviously, that comes out is the escargot, where they're like,
Right.
"Them's be snails." I mean,
And
they're
they
not
miss
eating, and they're looking at
hicks.
another neighboring table that has a family with two girls.
That's right. No,
and a
this is
boy.
key. Yes, very
And
key. Thank you,
they-
Pamela.
Well,
Big
first of
moment.
all, they're such hicks. They miss out on the beef bourguignon.
They
were gonna
sure
get
do.
beef
That was the
bourguignon,
best
which
part.
They would have liked.
They would
but
have
they didn't know
loved
what
it.
it was. And he's going on about salad and beef, but the escargot, and it's one of the great classic moments. People talking on Facebook. Them thar snails, and it's the running
snails.
French joke thing about they don't understand. By the way, escargot is delicious. So there you
Oh
go.
my God, so much garlic.
Also,
Yeah, incredible.
you know Michael. Michael loved fine dining. Michael ate escargot. Michael loved fine dining and very fancy restaurants. He and Johnny Carson would joke about this restaurant that they went to all the time out in
Yeah.
Malibu. He liked the fanciest restaurants and the steaks and the whole bit. He would have eaten everything in that French restaurant
Yeah.
and ordered more. So
course.
it's the send up of him going, "Oh my God, I can't eat that. I don't know what that is."
But they
Yeah.
definitely started longing for their own families
Yes.
by watching
Yes.
this other family next to them.
It's funny, as I watched, I didn't think the family was all that attractive and appealing. I don't know how they picked the family, how they, it was just sort of, okay, it's all in their heads. They're seeing mother and father and children there,
he's
and
my
they're
kid. Yeah.
thinking about what that moment should be, that they should be
That they should
in
be
that
with their
moment.
kids.
And this is the turning point
Right.
moment of that
Because
story.
they said, right, and they said if this is how rich people eat, I don't want to. I'd rather
Right.
be home and happy.
Right,
That's when they
exactly.
decide they don't
Family
want to do
meets
this. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Exactly.
Okay.
So
Then
we cut.
can
So
go.
we cut to Mom, and we cut to home, and Ma is crying.
Silently
She's
in
obviously
bed.
very lonely and upset. And the wagon comes in, and they have this coming together moment, and it's this wonderful thing. And I think Pa, at that point, Charles say, "I'm not going to do this."
And he thinks he's letting her down.
Right.
And she is
Right.
absolutely relieved.
Thrilled.
She never wanted him to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a beautiful scene of them sort of coming together. And he says,
And that's the end of Act 2.
that's the end of Act 2. My God. What an act.
Long day.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a
that
long
could have
act,
definitely
yeah.
been in Act 3 from the restaurant at least on.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
anyway, let's take a break and then we'll wrap it up when we get back.
From the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimiValley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visitsimiValley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
Okay, we're back, and we've got some splaining to do. Take it, Dean.
I wish I could. So yeah, we come back and there's a lot of loneliness still about Pa. That they're missing him, and where is he, and when will he be home? And of course, because no cell phones, no communication, they don't know where he is. We do this very pretty shot, and I'm not sure where they shot this. It feels like it's got to be Northern California in the gold rush country. This beautiful golden leaves and driving through a prairie with a split rail fence, and it's a beautiful setting. And so they're a long way from home still, and then we cut to the road. And Mary and Laura and Carrie are walking along to go to school, and this is where we get into the famous bumps.
She's worried about bumps. When do I get bumps? Even Nellie Oleson. Even Nellie Oleson.
This was I think this is a very, wow. And thinking about it at that age, I mean, this has got to be like the question on every young girl's mind. And when is this going to happen? Because your young girls are watching older girls, they see their mothers, something is happening here. And when is it going to happen to me? And here Laura very openly, without any sort of edge on it or any sort of she's asking very directly, when is this going to happen for me?
There's something about using the word bumps that's so vulgar and weird. It's always been
lady bumps. Wasn't it lady bumps? When am I going to get lady bumps?
No, just bumps. I've always, even as a little girl, I was like, oh, not the word bumps. That's awful.
That's why it's so childlike. She hasn't even it's not even connecting for her to say that it's breasts or having boobs is later, but it's bumps. But now, okay, so when you were a teenager, and were you doing this? Were you trying to do the
I know that was a thing. I don't remember if I did it, but I know that was a thing for sure.
We must.
Yes,
there was a chant because we must
increase our bust.
Did anyone do that? That's so
it's better.
embarrassing.
It's better. It's better for the sweater. Yeah, horrible, horrible.
That's funny. Never heard that.
So horrible. We have to admit, Laura saying, when do I get bumps? That's a real thing. Yes, this is a completely real thing that has happened to people. It's sad and true.
But then
the perfume hasn't worked. I mean,
right. So she's picked an apple, and she has an apple, and she gets a brilliant idea. Enter the school.
Terrible.
Enter the school. This scene will live down. It lives in infamy, this scene. She enters the school, and she has put apples in her dress. Why? I mean, this is so something a little kid would do.
Knows.
Why would you think that no one would really notice that all of a sudden you have these giant things in your anyway,
you didn't go away for summer vacation and come back. They saw you 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
You walked into the room. And they're clearly apple shaped.
And so everyone's laughing. It's just horrific. And then Miss Beadle, aka Miss Sims,
so good,
asked Laura to come up to the desk to do a math problem.
Yeah, of course.
Mortification of those who care about her, because everyone, especially me and Willie, are just laughing hysterically. Mary is secondhand embarrassment. Is dying of secondhand embarrassment.
She cannot believe that her sister.
And Jimmy does care about her and is going, no, you see, his eyes are just, no, why are you doing that? Why did she do that? Why did she do that?
It's horrifying.
He's in hell. He cannot
and of course Miss Beadle has not noticed yet until she's writing on the chalkboard and then sort of glances down and the apple falls out of her dress. Now, big props to Mrs. Sims, aka Miss Beadle, because she handles it very, very well by saying, Laura, don't you have to go to the outhouse?
Yes. I'm watching the scene now as she comes in the door, and she's so proud of herself, and she walks down the aisle. Now, do you think kids? I don't think that kids would kids have burst out laughing? They'd seen that? I don't think that. I think there would have been dead silence in the room. I don't know if there would have been.
I mean, cringe. I mean, the whole thing, and even my experience watching this as a little girl was like, oh no. And then my sister and I used to put apples in our dresses or our shirts just to make fun of this episode because it's so cringe. Just horrific. It's also like worst nightmare that could ever happen to a kid at school, right? It's just so embarrassing and humiliating. Anyway, and obviously Laura is terribly embarrassed and humiliated and is distraught by this entire thing.
People might have tried to cover their laughter more. There'd be one kid in the back
it was
crying,
awful.
probably.
I'm watching you, Allison, and you're bent over on your desk, laughing as Laura runs out of the room. And it's just like, how embarrassing can it get?
And Charlotte is so good in this.
Yeah,
because
she's
the
great.
way she deadpans it and just goes,
Charlotte's
"Lauren,
amazing
you
in
need to
this.
Go to the restroom. Like, I am going to help this girl get out of here. There's nothing to say. This situation cannot be fixed. I'm going to give her an exit." And Charlotte plays it so perfectly, so calmly. "Don't you need to go to the restroom?"
Yeah, perfect. Well, then at home, Laura is absolutely devastated and will not go to school the next day. Oh, and by the way, Pa comes home. That's when Pa comes home the night before. And so the next day, they're like, Laura's very upset and she hasn't been herself and she's not going to school. And he's like, I'll talk to her. And Ma's like, nope, I'll talk to her because who wants their father talking about such things?
Yes. That the whole family is like, we are not having a conversation with Dad about her putting apples up her dress.
Nope.
That is never happening.
And then-
He has never to know about this. This never happened.
And once again, Ma, for MVP, man, she knows exactly what to say to her daughter, which is like, yeah, you did something dumb. Yes, it was absolutely embarrassing. But you know what's more embarrassing is pretending to be someone that you're not. And that's what you have to love yourself first before anyone else can love you. Come on, Ma. She's nailing the Ma thing.
Yeah.
And then she says, you know, God made you exactly to be who you are. And God must really, really like Laura Ingalls. So why wouldn't you? And that just changes Laura's perspective entirely.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be something you're not.
Yeah. So she returns back to school despite the odds. I would never go back to school ever again. there really is no, I mean, how do you come back for this? But again, it's the prairie. They're forgiving people, I suppose. But she, you know, braids back. Unfortunately, braids back in the hair. She's back to playing baseball. She's going to be herself. And what happens next? What happens next that Jimmy now notices her?
Well, actually, what happens, I'm sorry, everybody, what happens next is we're back with with Charles and Jonathan in Mankato, and that's when they go to the restaurant.
Oh my goodness,
That's
we
what-
really
because
screwed
they
up
keep
this
going-
timeline.
We've jumped the
back at the
timeline.
ranch.
Everybody, I'm sorry, we've jumped the timeline.
We've
on this
jumped the
episode a little
timeline.
bit.
They've seen
Yeah.
this episode before. They
They
get
know.
it. Forgive
Yeah.
us.
So meanwhile,
They've seen it.
Ranch.
They're looking at it
Why
saying
are we
they
even
don't know what they're
recapping
talking
it?
about.
They know this episode. We can even shut up. They can explain
Yeah,
it
they've
to us.
probably been going, why are they talking about this?
They don't know what they're talking about. So now I'm
did watch it, I
watching the
promise.
scene right now with the escargot and all of
Love
that
that.
business. So
Dots.
yeah. And then we
Really?
saw the
Pa's
scene
not
where
home
they're going to
yet?
go to the
Okay.
restaurant and Jonathan picks up Charles and carries him to the
Adorable.
restaurant. These are, Michael loved working in these moments. He loved having these big guys as his buddies.
Yeah.
Who could pick him up and carry him. And he got to be the little brother. And he really worked well in that dynamic. And he needed someone like a Merlin Olsen or Victor
Yeah.
French to make that dynamic really work. And he got that with those two guys. Totally. Yeah, I'm looking at the Russian spy now, the beef bourguignon moment. They're a little flipped out. Let's see, where are we going next after that? Okay, so then they're watching the family. Right, so we're well into Act 3 and they're
we've
looking at
done
this.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Okay,
we
so
can
now
skip-
that's
I think we can get to the end, which is
So that's so they finish at the restaurant and they watch the family and they're both sort of realizing something. That's the end of the act. Act 4, we come back and Charles and Caroline have a moment in the front of the house.
Yay.
And this is where Charles says, I don't want you to be disappointed, but I think I'm going to have to give this up because I miss being here with you. And she's so overjoyed to get that news. And he's Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice moment.
It's a beautiful scene.
I don't want
is
to be
really
a
nice
rich
moment.
guy who goes to places and eats all this food but never sees his
But
family.
never
I want
sees
to
his
see
family, right,
And
right.
again, Michael inserting real life things. So Michael, came up on Bonanza with that crew who then followed him to Little House. Part of the thing was he said, "Hey, look, we got a show." So half the cast is kids, the lead actors are kids, which means 4 hours work, blah, 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 knocking off at 9 hours. I mean, we have some leeway to shoot an hour here and there with the adults, but 90% of the scenes involve someone that has to leave after 9 hours are up, not to mention the babies. So here's the deal. We're going to do a show. We'll go in really early. We'll be there stupid early before sunrise. But we will most likely knock off most days at 5,
5:30. Yeah.
sometimes 4.
Yeah.
7 was outright, like if you were on a rush to finish something, but
Right.
that was as late as
Or
it
a
went.
Friday night. You do that on a
Yeah.
Friday night. Yeah.
But 5 o'clock, 6 maybe.
Yeah.
As I said, sometimes 4:30. We will knock off at a normal time. We will not do much overtime. We will not be shooting into the middle of the night, maybe on location with some cronus, but we will not, most days, 90% of the days, be shooting past 6. You are all going to go home and have dinner with your families because you were younger on Bonanza. Now you've all married. You all got kids. He said, I got a bunch of kids. We can all go home at a reasonable hour. How fabulous that this is one of the things about the show with kids. And they did. We knocked off at a normal time. And people had their kids working on the show. So how do you manage this like huge, enormous career, yet spend an inordinate amount of time with your kids? That was a running theme for him. That was like a real thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have how many of the crew members' children are sitting there in the schoolroom going, "Hi, Dad."
Yeah.
It was absolutely about, and his own kids were there. So having then Charles go, "No, I want to spend more time with my family. I don't want to do that other job." That it was a completely legit, real thing that Michael talked about all the time.
Yeah. So this is where we have the moment after this scene. It's a very sweet scene. Ma and Pa come back into the house. Laura's up in the loft. It's morning. Laura's up in the loft crying. She's never going to go back to school. She's never going to go back to school. Pa comes hobbling in. This is where he says, well, I'll go talk to her. And Ma speaks up and says, no, I've got this. And of course, we end up knowing why. And this is where she delivers this wonderful, I mean, look, this has been written for her, but they give Ma, this is really, Karen did these scenes so well through the
Perfect.
years.
Perfect.
She just had this beautiful Earth Mother quality about her, and she could bring it in these moments. And I think it's great that Michael gave her these moments to do, because there weren't a ton of them, but when she got them, she delivered them big time.
Great in this one. She is the perfect mom in this one.
Oh my God, she's
is.
great.
She is the correct answer every time that
Yeah.
everything goes
Yes.
to Helen Hancock. She is on it.
Yes.
So, because of that, Laura does return to school, braids back, playing baseball, all the
Right.
good stuff. And she and Jimmy are walking home again. He's carrying her books. And she's going to go her way. He's going to go his way. She says,
And
oh,
they're
no,
dishing
wait.
Samantha. They completely dished that Samantha
Yes.
girl.
Oh, yes.
Her? Oh, please.
Yeah, because Laura knocks a home run. And yeah, totally.
And he's like,
and
yeah,
he
she
drops
plays
he drops the books. They go scrummage to get the books. And then they're face to face once again. And then he has his realization of, wait a minute, I have a crush on this girl. Yes, cue the music. And then, guess what, folks? There's a frickin' kiss. He goes in and kisses her.
Yeah.
I
And it's
know,
a
it's
very
very sweet,
brief
though.
kiss, but the heads are turned
But
properly.
she really
it's
tilts
like
that head. It's a she does a wicked left turn with her head. It's very extreme.
It's very chaste and sweet, but she does go, okay, and turn her head like,
She does.
I'm going to get a
And then
kiss."
she
Yeah.
sort of runs away, and he calls after her, Laura, and Georgia's back, and he says, I didn't think it was yucky. And she
me
says,
either, she
"Me
says.
either."
And she skips off into the
literally
distance.
skips.
Yeah.
Skips.
Yeah.
Yips, I tell you.
And that's how
Skipping
the
off into
episode
the
ends.
distance, and that's the end of the episode.
And then we never see Jimmy again. He very quickly enters the
Poor
vortex.
Jimmy. He goes
Whatever
off
happened to
with
Jimmy?
John Jr. and all the
Yes,
boyfriends.
yes. The vortex of
we
the old
liked
boyfriend.
him.
He's there with Johnny Johnson and
Yeah.
all the boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was a cutie patootie. I was like, ooh, this
He was really
one.
handsome.
Yeah, yeah. And it was the first boyfriend that was sort of her size and age.
Yeah, I think, he's handsome because, I mean, Johnny Johnson
Yes.
and Jason. It's like, wait, what?
Old.
It does make me wonder if this is what she was expecting, more
you?
what she was expecting when season 6 started, and that it was going to be someone like
No,
Chris.
but it wouldn't have worked.
No, it was not right for the chronology of it, but that's in her mind
Lorenzo-
what she
maybe in her
may
mind.
have been
Yeah, sure.
hoping for.
Yes.
Well, and,
a
you know,
more
and
boyish.
Lorenzo was a lot older.
Yeah. But maybe she wanted a more boyish, charming
Yeah.
guy than
Well,
a
I think it was pretty
strapping
boyish
brute
at
of a man
23,
like
but
you.
I was a good deal bigger. And
No, you were a strapping brute of a man.
well,
A brute of a man. You were such a boy.
no one's ever called me a brute of anything. I mean, it's like,
Strapping brute of a
yeah,
man.
You were pretty, but you were.
you were a man.
You were totally a boy.
Yeah, but a man.
but
a
yeah, I mean,
boyish man.
but you know, I was tall and a deeper voice, and
Yeah.
as it's always free as Melissa
Wait,
wrote
were
in her
you
book,
a-
you know,
were you a
he
late
shaved, and he lived in his own apartment and drove his own car. I mean, it was
Come
like,
on.
you know, it was that kind of thing.
Dean, were you a late bloomer? Oh, deep sigh.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think I started.
Were you
you know, I
steady?
Well, I don't think I started dating until I was 16.
Yeah.
That's normalish.
And at that,
was-
you know, yeah, I think that's sort of, you know, but once I started that, I was, you know, pretty committed, and I
Yeah,
stepped
sure.
into it, you know, pretty fully at that point. But I mean, I was not, you know, I was not early, you know, with
Or late.
sort of the life's first major experiences. I
Yeah.
was, you know, that was a little later.
Yeah.
That was a little later. And, you know, it was one of those things, not that we hadn't thought about talk about something that comes up, but this was one of those situations. I'm sure there are people who relate to this. I was 19, and I remember I was in college at that time. I was off in college, so this did not happen in high school. I was at college, and I remember waking up on a particular, this just tells you how intentional this can be. I woke up on a morning, couldn't tell, it was like a fall morning off at school, and I said to myself, today's the day.
No.
I mean, I didn't know who it was going to be. I didn't know where it was going to happen. But I said, today is the day.
Wow. And was it?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
Dean.
It was
manifesting.
now. I think as most men would acknowledge, it was a very. This is probably more information than anyone wants in our
I know.
podcast.
I was like,
But, you know,
we went from colonoscopies to this. How?
yeah, right. No, wow, everybody. Sorry, it got.
circle.
We
you
are
know, what-
starting a new podcast called TMI with Dean Butler. Today's TMI.
All right, so I'll
with Dean
stop
Butler.
there. I'll stop
No,
there.
I love it. I love it.
No, you're right, Alison. That's too much. That's too much information. But it was not. But it was one of those things where, you know, I just decided to
make
do
it
it
ready.
today, and that's when it happened.
You were ready. That's
it's time, it's
amazing.
time.
Yeah, I'm tired of not knowing what this was all about. I
Of
need
course.
to know. Yeah.
I think there are many women that do exactly the same thing. Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon. But I kudos to you that you set your mind to it and you did it that very day. You had 24 hours and you did it.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, you know, you have to be very intentional about these things, and and so yeah, today's the day and was the day, and so it's like,
Very matter of
and
fact.
on we go.
There it is.
Yeah, there it
And on
is. So
that note,
I
this
just
is a
want
very-
to. I'm saying this because I want to apologize to everybody. We generally are pretty buttoned up on our timelines for these episodes,
Yes.
and we this was a very rushed preparation for this. I'm sorry. Again, maybe too much, maybe TMI here, but it was just rushed here, and we knew we could talk about it, but I'm sorry. I apologize.
We scrambled the timeline, but then
Yeah.
you threw in that little, you know, fun fact about you at the end. And I think that made up more than enough.
Okay.
And on
Okay.
that note, This was a very, very special episode of the Little House on the Prairie 50th anniversary podcast.
Oh my God! Thanks, everybody. Apologies.
I don't think you need to apologize. I just, it was just a very unexpected fact that I'm quite enjoying. But anyway, you never know what you're going to get on the podcast. And you never know what
isn't
you're
that
gonna
part
on
of the whole
Patreon.
podcasting thing is spontaneity and authenticity?
It happens.
That's
Listen,
sort
we
of
are
an authentic
nothing but
moment.
we are nothing, if anything, but spontaneous here. We never know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, no,
between
exactly.
these
I
recaps.
love talking to the two of you because exactly this kind of thing comes up, and we've all had those moments, and we just share. And I think it's the best part. And I really do think it's why people are downloading the show 500,000 times a month.
Well, thanks. What fun fact are we going to share next week?
I don't know. What else have we got?
I know. We have to write a list, you guys. Maybe it's our special sauce with this podcast. TMI with and next week on TMI with Dean Bo.
Okay.
Anyway, let's wrap this up.
We'll have to see what happens with this one. But listen, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Listen, join us on our socials, Little House 50 Podcast, our website, littlehouse50podcast.com. If you're not on Patreon, we're going to talk about more of Dean's adolescent. I'm just assuming. I don't know. But maybe we'll go there. You never know what we're going to talk about on Patreon.
It's true.
All I know is that we can't air it on the regular podcast. So that tells you something. So if you haven't joined yet, please do. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And like and subscribe, share us around. It really helps with our algorithm and getting the word out that we're here. Anyway, I need a cold shower and a cigarette now. Let's end this. Bob, get the wig. Let's fly. See you guys next time. We're picking some
Flying
apples,
to the
shall we?
hospital. I'm flying
that
back to
colonoscopy,
school.
everybody.
And flying.